In 1943, a grandmother in rural Pennsylvania handed her daughter a small cloth bag. Inside were tomato seeds her own mother had given her decades earlier. 3 generations of women had grown the same variety, saving seeds each fall, replanting each spring. That bag of seeds would outlast the war. It would outlast the grandmother herself. Those same genetic lines still produce tomatoes today, 80 years later. During World War II, 20 million American families planted victory gardens. Across Britain, the Dig for Victory campaign transformed parks and lawns into vegetable plots. Seed companies couldn't meet demand. Families survived on seeds passed down through generations. Those heirloom varieties remain viable for 5, 10, sometimes 20 years in storage. Modern hybrid seeds from garden centers often fail after 2 or 3 seasons. What made these wartime seeds so resilient, and why did we stop saving them? Number 1. Scarlet runner beans. British families during the Dig for Victory campaign grew scarlet runner beans on every available vertical surface. Fences, walls, and improvised poles supported vines reaching 10 feet tall. The variety had arrived from Central America in the 1600s and became a British garden staple long before the war demanded maximum food production. The Ministry of Food recommended scarlet runners specifically because small gardens could produce enormous yields growing upward rather than outward. A single row along a fence provided fresh beans for months. The large seeds made saving and storing straightforward. Each bean was big enough to handle individually, dry quickly, and store without special equipment. Families discovered another advantage during harsh wartime winters. In mild climates, scarlet runner roots survive underground and resprout the following spring. One planting could produce for years without saving seeds at all. Seed viability under proper storage reaches 8 to 10 years, sometimes longer. The thick seed coat that makes these beans so satisfying to grow also protects the embryo from moisture and oxygen degradation. Modern bush beans bred for commercial production sacrifice this durability for faster harvest. They require annual seed purchase because saved seeds produce inconsistent results. Scarlet runners breed true generation after generation. Heritage seed companies including Baker Creek and Seed Savers Exchange maintain authenticated strains directly descended from wartime stock. Number 2. Mortgage lifter tomato. During the Great Depression, a radiator repairman in West Virginia named Marshall Cletus Biles developed a tomato so productive that selling its seeds paid off his $6,000 mortgage. Neighbors called him Radiator Charlie, and his tomato spread through Appalachian communities during the war years that followed. Each mortgage lifter tomato can weigh 2 pounds. A single plant produces 25 to 35 pounds of fruit across the growing season. For families rationing every calorie, this productivity meant survival. Fewer plants fed more people using less garden space. The variety developed natural disease resistance during its years of selection. Radiator Charlie saved seeds only from his healthiest, largest producing plants. Each generation grew stronger. This accumulated resilience helped mortgage lifters survive growing conditions that killed weaker varieties. Tomato seeds saved properly remain viable for 8 to 10 years. The fermentation process traditional growers use to clean seeds actually extends their storage life. Natural germination inhibitors in the gel surrounding tomato seeds get broken down during fermentation, but the seeds themselves emerge more durable. Modern hybrid tomatoes bred for commercial shipping cannot reproduce themselves reliably. Seeds saved from grocery store tomatoes produce disappointing, unpredictable plants. Mortgage lifter produces identical offspring year after year. Number 3. Stawell's evergreen corn. Nathan Stawell developed this corn variety in Burlington, New Jersey in 1848. By the time Victory Gardens mobilized American families nearly a century later, Stawell's evergreen had become the dominant sweet corn in home gardens nationwide. U.S. guides recommended it by name. The variety earned its name from an unusual characteristic. Ears remain tender and edible far longer than other corn varieties. Where modern sweet corn must be eaten within days of harvest, Stillwell's evergreen stays palatable for weeks. This extended harvest window gave wartime families flexibility that commercial timing demands cannot accommodate. Each stalk produces 2 to 3 ears with 16 to 20 rows of deep kernels. Plants reach 8 to 9 feet, providing windbreak protection for smaller crops growing nearby. The 95 to 100 day maturity meant families could plant in late spring and harvest before autumn frost. Corn seed viability typically spans to 2 to 3 years under standard conditions. Proper storage extends Stillwell's evergreen to 5 or 8 years. Low moisture content at harvest proves critical. Corn left on stalks until kernels dense and dry stores far longer than corn harvested for immediate eating. Modern supersweet hybrid corn has thinner seed coats bred for tenderness. This tenderness makes seeds fragile and short-lived. Stillwell's robust kernels protected by durable seed coats outlast modern varieties by years when properly stored. Number 4. Bloomsdale Long-Standing Spinach. The oldest American seed company, David Landreth of Philadelphia, introduced Bloomsdale spinach in 1826. The variety remained the American standard through both world wars and still grows in gardens today, nearly 200 years after its introduction. Victory garden planters valued Bloomsdale for its speed and cold tolerance. Seeds germinate in soil temperatures as low as 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Families could plant weeks before the last frost and harvest fresh greens while other crops barely sprouted. In a hungry nation stretching rations, those early spring leaves provided critical nutrition. The name long-standing refers to bolt resistance. Spinach naturally wants to flower and produce seeds as days lengthen and temperatures rise. Once flowering begins, leaves turn bitter and production stops. Bloomsdale resists this tendency 3 to 4 weeks longer than standard spinach, extending the harvest window dramatically. Wartime nutrition campaigns promoted spinach heavily. The Popeye cartoon character boosted American spinach consumption by an estimated 33% during the 1930s and 1940s. Families growing their own needed varieties that produced reliably, and Bloomsdale delivered. Spinach seed viability runs shorter than beans or tomatoes. Standard storage yields 2 to 3 years of reliability. Optimal cool, dry conditions extend this to 4 or 6 years. Gardeners saving spinach seeds learn to refresh their stock more frequently than other vegetables. Number 5. Dander's 126 carrot. Massachusetts farmers developed the Dander's carrot in 1871 specifically for the heavy, rocky soils common in New England. By World War II, this tolerance for difficult growing conditions made Dander's the standard victory garden carrot across America and a featured variety in British Dig for Victory campaigns. The British government promoted carrots aggressively during the war, claiming they improved night vision. This was partially propaganda to hide radar development, but the nutritional claims held truth. Carrots provide concentrated beta-carotene, converted by the body to vitamin essential for eye health and immune function. Danvers offered something most vegetables cannot match: storage in place. Carrots left in the ground through winter remain edible for months in mild climates. Heavy mulch protects roots from hard freezing. Families without root cellars could harvest fresh vegetables in January simply by brushing away snow and pulling carrots as needed. Root cellar storage extended availability for 2 to 6 months without any processing or refrigeration. This keeping quality made carrots essential winter nutrition when canned and dried vegetables grew monotonous. Carrot seed saving requires 2 years. First season grows the root. After overwintering, replanted roots flower and set seed the second summer. This biennial cycle meant families with saved carrot seeds possessed something especially valuable. Number 6. Detroit Dark Red Beet. D.M. Ferry and Company introduced Detroit Dark Red Beet in 1892. Within 3 decades, it became America's dominant beet variety, a position it maintained throughout the war years and still holds today. Few vegetables have demonstrated such enduring commercial and home garden success. Victory garden families prized Detroit Dark Red for canning. The interior color remains uniformly dark throughout the root, with no white rings or pale zones. This consistent coloring made preserved beets attractive and appetizing when opened months later. Home canners could process an entire harvest knowing every jar would look perfect. The variety offers dual harvest value that maximized garden efficiency. Young beet greens, harvested at 30 days, provided nutrition equal to spinach without killing the plant. The root continued growing beneath, ready for harvest at 55 to 65 days. One planting produced two distinct crops. Beet seeds demonstrate exceptional longevity compared to most vegetables. Standard storage yields 4 to 5 years of reliable germination. Optimal conditions extend viability to 6 or even 10 years. What appear to be individual beet seeds are actually fused clusters containing multiple embryos. This cluster structure may contribute to their storage durability. Modern beet varieties remain largely unchanged from the 1892 original. Detroit Dark Red succeeded so thoroughly that breeding efforts focused elsewhere. The same genetics that fed Victory Garden families remain available from virtually every seed company operating today. Number 7. Kentucky Wonder Pole Beans. First recorded in Kentucky during the 1850s, this variety went by several names including Texas Pole and Old Homestead before Kentucky Wonder became standard. By 1900, it was America's most popular pole bean. Victory Garden families relied on it for both fresh eating and dried storage. Pole beans require vertical support, but repay the effort with extended harvest periods bush varieties cannot match. Kentucky Wonder produces continuously for 8 to 10 weeks once flowering begins. A family could eat fresh beans through summer and still dry enough for winter storage from the same planting. The pods reach 6 to 8 inches long, remaining stringless when harvested young. Left to mature, the same pods produce plump beans for drying. Dried Kentucky Wonder beans store indefinitely without refrigeration or canning, providing protein through winter months when fresh meat remains scarce. Bean seeds rank among the longest storing vegetables. Standard conditions yield 3 to 4 years of reliable germination. Optimal cool, dry storage extends Kentucky Wonder viability to 8 or 10 years. The thick seed coat characteristic of all beans provides natural protection against moisture and oxygen penetration. Number 8. Brandywine tomato. Amish communities in Chester County, Pennsylvania maintained Brandywine tomato through generations of careful seed saving. Documentation traces the variety to 1885, though oral tradition suggests earlier origins. By the time World War II disrupted American food systems, Brandywine had passed through enough hands to become regionally widespread. The variety consistently wins blind taste test, comparing heirloom and modern tomatoes. Complex flavor balancing sweetness and acidity produces a taste that commercial tomatoes bred for shipping cannot approach. Wartime families preserving garden harvests found that better-tasting fresh tomatoes made better-tasting canned tomatoes. Brandywine produces massive beefsteak fruits commonly weighing 1 to 2 pounds each. Distinctive potato-shaped leaves identify true Brandywine plants, distinguishing them from other large tomatoes that might cross-pollinate in mixed gardens. Families saving seeds could verify variety purity by leaf shape alone. Indeterminate growth habit means Brandywine produces continuously until frost kills the vine. A single plant yields tomatoes across 3 or 4 months. Modern determinate varieties bred for commercial harvest dump their entire crop within weeks, requiring replanting for extended production. Tomato seeds properly fermented and dried remain viable 8 to 10 years. This longevity allowed Amish families to maintain Brandywine through lean years when gardens failed. Seeds from prosperous harvests carried varieties through difficult seasons. Seed Savers Exchange maintains authenticated Brandywine stock directly descended from the original Chester County strain. Number 9. Black-seeded Simpson lettuce. Introduced in 1850, black-seeded Simpson became the standard American garden lettuce and held that position for over a century. The name references its distinctive dark seeds, unusual among lettuce varieties that typically produce white or tan seeds. This visual difference helped families maintain seed purity across generations. Victory Garden families valued lettuce for speed. Black-seeded Simpson reaches harvestable size in 45 days, the fastest producing vegetable in most gardens. Succession planting every 2 to 3 weeks provided continuous salad greens from spring through fall. While tomatoes and beans took months to mature, lettuce delivered almost immediate returns. The loose-leaf growth habit enables cut-and-come-again harvesting. Outer leaves removed for salads allow inner leaves to continue growing. A single planting produces multiple harvests over weeks rather than one destructive harvest killing the plant. This efficiency maximized food production from limited garden space. Heat tolerance exceeded most lettuce varieties of the era. Where heading lettuces bolt and turn bitter in summer warmth, black-seeded Simpson continues producing edible leaves weeks longer. Families could maintain salad greens into July when other lettuce had already gone to seed. Lettuce seed viability runs shorter than most vegetables. Standard storage yields 1 to 2 years. Optimal conditions extend this to 3 or 6 years. Families saving lettuce seeds learn to refresh their stock regularly, growing plants to flowering and collecting fresh seeds frequently. 9 varieties carried millions of families through the most devastating war in human history. Scarlet runner beans, mortgage lifter tomatoes, Stawell's evergreen corn, Bloomsdale spinach, Danvers carrots, Detroit dark red beets, Kentucky wonder beans, Brandywine tomatoes, black-seeded Simpson lettuce. Each one still grows today. Each one still produces seeds that breed true. Each one still outlasts modern hybrids designed for corporate profit rather than family survival. Your grandmother might have grown these exact varieties. Her seeds might still be viable in a forgotten drawer or basement box. The genetics that fed Victory Gardens remain available from heritage seed companies. Seed Savers Exchange, Baker Creek, and others maintain strains directly descended from wartime gardens. Buy seeds this season, grow food this summer, save seeds this fall. Start a collection that could outlast you by generations. Food security begins with seed security. The families who survived the 1940s understood this. Do you?